What's going on, everybody? Once again, Paul not with us. It's me and Mason today here to talk about some receivers in the NFL, two specifically, Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp, the two guys leading the NFL. But we wanted to talk about the massive discrepancy in their stats and like how they have been able to do what they have done. And I know Mason has some metrics on Chase and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to start this off. During one point at Sunday, Jamar Chase took the lead in receiving yards. And at one point, it was the most yards ever by a wide receiver through 7 games, which was crazy. It's awesome to see. Cooper Kupp eventually took that back over. So I'm going to start with Cooper Kupp's actual stats. On the season, he's got 56 catches, 809 yards, 9 touchdowns, 81 targets. That's absurd, okay? This guy's on pace for 196 targets. Crazy. He's on pace for 136 receptions, 1,963 receiving yards, and 22 touchdowns. This could be an MVP-type season for Cooper Kupp if he keeps this up, okay? One thing, Matthew Stafford forces him the ball like crazy. So when I'm going to start talking about Jamar Chase numbers are still great, but he is significantly less targeted. So Jamar Chase's actual stats, 35 catches, 754 yards, 6 touchdowns on 51 targets. Do you notice that 51 targets compared to Cooper Kupp's 81 targets?
30.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
And he was 50 yards behind Cooper Kupp right now? That's insane. All right. So Jamar Chase is on pace for 124 targets, 85 receptions, 1,830 receiving yards, and 14 total touchdowns. That would be the best season ever by a rookie wide receiver. The guy is on pace to do some crazy things. So, and I know you have something you want to talk about as well.
Yeah, right before I talk about it, though, I want to say, like, everyone, praised Justin Jefferson last year, like, about how he did, and then everyone kind of forgot that Jamar Chase, when he was healthy, was the better of the two receivers at LSU, so we're starting to see Jamar Chase do pretty much exactly what Jefferson did last year with Minnesota, and it was just catch a bomb every single game and just absolutely torch defenses. But I have a stat on DeAndre Hopkins. He's my favorite receiver in the NFL, and I know the Cardinals are 7-0, and they don't really need to use him as much as, like, say, the Rams are using Cooper Kupp. The Rams are in a lot of close games right now, and Cooper Kupp's definitely helping them. They're going to force him the ball to keep themselves in reach of the game, I guess you could say. Hopkins is 7-0, but he's definitely still underutilized in my eyes. Right now he's sitting at 47 targets, which is 4 less than Jamar Chase. He's not anywhere near the receiving yards that Jamar Chase has, but he does have 7 touchdowns through these games. He averages 1 a game. But I decided to change some metrics up just to see what it would be like if DeAndre Hopkins was getting the same amount of targets as Cooper Kupp. And I figured out that DeAndre Hopkins would actually have 1 more catch than Cooper Kupp, and he would also have 852 yards on 81 targets, as well as 13 touchdowns. And that just goes to show how much of a difference maker DeAndre Hopkins is, even with the minimal amount of targets that he's receiving. Like, he is still extraordinarily productive, and I just want to say he's my favorite receiver in the NFL. I had to bring him up into this just because I still say he's averaging like 6-7 targets a game, and I don't like it.
Hey, those yards again he would have? Those yards he would have?
852.
Yeah, and Cooper Kupp has 809 actual yards right now.
Yeah.
And you said he'd have 57 catches?
Yeah.
And how many touchdowns?
13.
Wow. And that's DeAndre Hopkins' efficiency, ladies and gentlemen.
The guy is DeAndre Hopkins is making everything happen himself too. Like, he's still having his crazy catches and like his touchdowns. He's pretty much like doing these routes where he's earning them. In this last game last week, he just had a freebie, like it was wide open in the end zone. But like every other game, he's been having these contested catches in the end zone or plays where there's 4 defenders in front of him, and he's still just somehow getting in the end zone. It's just like the guy is unstoppable. And Cooper Kupp, I have nothing against him, but he is definitely force-fed the ball, and Mason, a Rams fan, can even agree with me to that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Cooper Kupp, that target, that connection that Stafford and Kupp has created is crazy. And now, I mean, if teams shut that down, then the Rams have other options. But, yeah, we should probably look to maybe spread the ball around a little bit.
I didn't do any metrics on what Jamar Chase would have with Cooper Kupp's targets, but his yardage would be absolutely absurd with 30 more targets.
It would be insane with 30 more targets.
You would probably have like 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns at this point in the season, and that's just unheard of out of any receiver ever. And
I
Now
know.
with the year of 17 games, I mean, like records. Cooper Kupp might just shatter like all receiving single season receiving records at this point, just because of the extra game and the way he's getting fed the ball. Like Mason said, what was it,
Dude,
196 targets he's expected to get?
yes.
Dude, you think
That's
Keenan Allen's a highly targeted receiver? That guy gets like 150, 160 every year. I couldn't even imagine
yeah.
190. That is ridiculous.
Dude, based off of these stats, Cooper Kupp has a chance to get 2,000 receiving yards. That is unthought of. Like, who would have thought? And then you got to talk about MVP. Like, how could I don't know. It's a quarterback's league, so MVP is always going to be favored by the quarterback. But man, some of these positional players, they are killing it this
Dude, if
year. I
there's a
love to see
receiver
it.
going over 2,000 yards, I don't know how they wouldn't be the MVP. And then again, you got
I
Derrick
know.
Henry on the other spectrum, just doing his thing, already on pace for
Yeah,
2,000 yards again. So it's just like this 17 game season's gonna throw things off though, because it's making these stats easier to achieve. So 2,000 rushers are gonna be a lot more. I guess you could say it's gonna happen a lot more than it has in the past. I know people it's been like a highly touted thing, and now it's gonna be like, it's still really good, but not as much anymore. So like, I
yeah.
think skills positions are gonna get screwed even harder by that for MVPs. Honestly, I think it's just gonna be completely quarterbacks and nothing else at this point, which is tough for me to say because I think it's unfair and it's completely biased. But
It is, man.
but yeah, we just wanted to do a quick little glance over these receivers and show you the kind of historic seasons they've been having. Like, even with 17 games, if you took it back down to 16, these seasons are still historical. Jamar Chase is doing things a rookie has never done before. Cooper Kupp is getting targeted like no other receiver has seen before. Cooper Kupp is just on pace for, even in a 16-game season, he's on pace for around 1,600 yards and I think 14, 13 touchdowns or something. So, like, that's still an extraordinarily good season. But, yeah, that's all we have to talk
Crazy.
about today. If you guys liked the video, like it down below, comment down below, tell us who you think an underrated receiver is that could definitely be up there, kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins situation. We talked about DK Metcalf before this, actually. He's another one in our conversation about that. And if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe to it. It helps us out. We're going to continue to push out content like this each and every single day, besides Sundays because we are watching football. But
Yep.
I'm going to let Mason kick us out of here. What you got for us, Mason?
Fantasy few out, baby. Let's go.